If you're not familiar, this style of practice will be very low to the ground and we'll use minimal muscular effort. We'll hold poses for either 2 to 5 minutes, depending on the pose, and we'll use a lot of support so that we're not engaging the muscles and really getting deep into the connective tissue in the body. And for today's practice, we'll focus on heart opening and the hips, heart and hips. So things you might want to have, if you have yoga blocks, have those nearby. If you have a folded blanket or maybe even 2 or 3 or a few pillows. So me, I have today a bigger pillow and kind of a smaller pillow, a blanket and a couple of blocks, but you'll be able to improvise with just pillows, just blankets, whatever works for you. So make sure you have those things all around you. And we will start today by lying on our belly in crocodile pose. So once you come to lie down, taking your time to arrive there. And then if you do have or feel any tension in the hips here, you can always take your blanket and just have a thin layer. I'm actually going to go ahead and do that and rest that under the hips, especially since we'll be here for a little while. So be sure to support yourself as needed. And then once you're lying on the belly, you can cross the arms, take hold of your opposite elbows with your hands, relax your forearms down, turn your big toes out wide so that you're resting on the inner parts of your feet and the inner parts of the knees, and then rest the head on the arms. If you need a little bit more height here, you could scoot a block under or even rest on a small pillow. So find what supports you. Otherwise, head coming to the arms. And then quite often through the yin practice, if your head is down, I will lift mine so that you hear me speak, but feel free to keep yours down. So as you rest here, just letting your body settle, letting your body become still. Supporting any areas that you're feeling any tension. And just starting to breathe. Your legs could be as wide as your mat or maybe even slightly wider. Have your breath move through your nose for both your inhale and your exhale. Feel for slowing your breath down as you begin to settle the body. Feel for relaxing the shoulders, even relaxing that grip of the hands on the elbows. And just allowing the weight of your body to relax all the way. Your body to become heavy. Your muscles letting go. You could guide the breath slowly and gently in and out of your low belly. Feel for quieting the mind as you hold the pose. And trying to notice whatever is flowing through the body, feeling energy, prana or chi, Maybe even noticing the blood flow, the heartbeat. Let's take just a few more breaths here. Good, one breath, remaining relaxed and calm. You could gently bring the legs back toward each other. You might keep that blanket there if it's under your hips or slide it out. And then come to rise up onto your elbows. Feel for having your elbows right underneath of your shoulders. And then relax the hands down on the floor. Legs are close together. Let the legs relax and lift up gently through the heart. You can guide your shoulders back and down a bit and have just a little tuck in your chin. And breathe. If you feel any tension in those hips, go ahead and pad them with a blanket. Otherwise, try to gently soften the shoulders back and allow the chest to lift, the heart to begin opening. Stretching into that space. You could either have those hands flat or you might even bring your hands together. Whatever offers a bit more support for you. Stay soft through the muscles in your face. Soft through the shoulders. You can send your breath where you feel the body stretching. Always being sure not to force anything. Yin can be a very meditative practice, so you might connect with a mantra, something that you have in your practice to give your mind something to do. I could suggest a mantra of so hum. If you'd like something to connect with, you could inhale quietly to the sound of so. And exhale to the sound of hum. You might even feel those subtle sounds in your own breath. So is said to be, or so hum is said to be the sound of the breath. And the literal translation of the sound of so, drawing in inspiration, or divine wisdom, energy. And the sound of hum, letting go of any limitations, really letting go of any obstacles stemming from the ego. Just breathing as you connect with that deeper part of you. And just a few more breaths. One more, slow and steady. We're gonna gently press ourselves up to hands and knees. So take your time, lift the hips up, and bring those knees a bit forward so that they are under your hips. We'll have the hands wider than the mat, and you might want your blanket nearby, you might want a pillow or a couple blocks nearby. We're gonna slide the right knee up next to the inside of the right hand. The left leg can walk back. You might keep that calf under your hamstring with the right leg, or you might scoot that calf out a little bit, just kind of closer to the left. Have that left leg nice and long behind you. Breathe in here. And as you exhale, just start to fold over your leg. Take a moment here to support. You can stack up your blocks. You have a place to rest your forehead. You could rest on a block with a blanket over top of it, or even have a pillow underneath you. If that back knee is sensitive, find your blanket and tuck it underneath. Be here for enough time that it's worth it to support your body. So take the time to do so. Let your arms settle where they're comfortable. Try to turn those palms up and let them be soft. Head is rested. Breath is steady. If for some reason this pose, which can be challenging, sleeping swan, is a little too much for you, then the alternative you could take. So if it's okay, then stay there. But if not, then lie on your back. And just have your feet on the floor, cross the right ankle over the left knee, and you can hang out here, either with that ankle just crossed or by lifting up the left foot and wrapping the hands behind the left thigh. So either staying here or remaining in sleeping swan, where we started. So be sure you're supporting your body. Try to drop your shoulders down. Soften the muscles in your face. With a chest release. And allow yourself to sink into your hips without force. So gravity can work for you, with you, as you breathe. You observe your muscles working to engage and tighten, gently let them go. If you need to back off, be sure to honor that. If you need to come all the way out of the pose, always an option. And sometimes just backing off a little bit can do the trick for you. And stay here for just a little while longer. Take one more breath. If you're on your back, stay there. If you're in sleeping swan, start to lift back up. Keep your legs where they are and just plant your palms flat, fingers wide. You might come up onto props here too. You can be on the mat or boosted up on blocks. But feel for guiding the chest forward, lifting up through the heart and gazing up slightly. You might gaze to the point where the ceiling meets the wall. And we'll stay here for just a moment or so. Chest open, shoulders back, continue to settle into the hips and breathe. So the pelvis is dropping down. Pelvis down as the heart lifts. A couple more breaths. Last one. So inhale here, and then let that go on the exhale. If you have those blocks, walk them out ahead of you. We're going to sit off to the right side. If you were on your back, go ahead and come around into a seat. From here, see if you can swing that back leg, the left leg. Try to swing it all the way around and feel for crossing the left leg over the right. So if you can, you'll come to stack your hips up and turn forward so it's a bit easier to see, but you can still face the front side of your mat. So if possible, you could stack the hips as best you can, or knees stacked, hips drawn in tightly. However, if this is not comfortable in your body, then the alternative would be to either stack the legs, square pose with ankles across on top of the opposite knee, one under, one over, or even a comfortable cross-legged seat. So find what works for you. And then sit up tall here. And on the exhale, we'll slowly start to fold over those legs, whether they're crossed or knee stacked, and then support the area in front of you. So the head is released. This could be with blocks. This could be with a pillow. This could be some combination of them. And then fold all the way down, resting the head somewhere. You can always rotate the height of your blocks as needed. So create the space that you need to support your body. And settle here. Direct your attention back to your breathing. Let the hands relax wherever they feel comfortable. And with every exhale, let go of any tension, releasing the muscles, and allowing yourself to go a bit deeper, the body a bit deeper. You can always rotate that height as you need it, play with it. And breathe. Stay present with your breath and just find 2 more here. With the
back, release, last one. Slowly start to lift back up. Take your time. Slide those props off to the side. We're going to swing that left leg, bring it behind you again, and find your way back into tabletop pose on your hands and knees. Have your hands as wide as your mat, and that blanket, you might want it nearby to pad the knee. We're going to slide now the left knee up next to the inside of your left hand, and the right leg walks back. If you're padding it, scoot that blanket up and support it. Maybe that left cat stays under the hamstring. That sometimes can make this pose more accessible. Or maybe you sit off to the side and scooch it out ahead of you. Lift back up, level your hips, and take your time to slowly fold over the leg. You might come all the way down onto your hands if that's comfortable, but don't force anything. Support your forehead. Soften the shoulders back and let yourself just surrender into the hips. And again, if you prefer that version on your back, you can come onto your back. And this time, cross your left outer ankle over the right knee. Right foot on the floor, ankle above or below the knee. Maybe you lift the right foot up and interlace the hands behind that thigh. As the muscles let go, you might observe the stretch in the connective tissue surrounding the buttocks and the thighs. You notice yourself tense up or tighten any muscles, gently work to let them go. Allow gravity to draw you downward and the breath to hold you here. We'll stay here for just a little while longer. We'll find 2 slow breaths. Last one. Slowly begin to lift the head and chest up. If you're on your back, you could stay there. Otherwise, come up on flat palms or your props. And then stay or continue to sink the pelvis down, but gently lift up through the chest. Drive the shoulders back slightly and let the gaze be upward. Could be to the point where the ceiling and the wall connect. And the chest extending outward. The heart open and breathe here. So pelvis is still sinking down as the back bends and the chest lifts. Notice where you might be able to soften a bit. Trying to go beyond effort. And instead connecting with the subtle sensations. Present with the breath for a few more. Last one. Gently release those blocks if you have them there. If you're on your back, you could swing around into a cross-legged seat or sitting on your bottom. Let's sit off to the left buttocks cheek. Feel for swinging that right leg around and crossing the right ankle. Take your time as you release those hips. Right ankle crossing over the left knee. Working to stack them. And again, if this is just not happening in your body, then just either stack one ankle over the knee and the other ankle under the other knee, or find a cross-legged seat. So once you've found what works for you, have some props nearby. Inhale, and as you exhale, just start to fold. Rest your forehead somewhere that it's supported. And relax your arms down. Every exhale, fostering release. Make any adjustments that you need as you go. Good, one breath. Slowly come to sit back up. Slide those props off to the side. Release those legs back behind you. You can slide that blanket out the side if it's there. We'll come onto hands and knees once more. And from here, we'll sink back into child's pose. So your knees could be wide apart. Your big toes could be together. Hips sinking back toward the feet. A lot of options here. You might take a blanket and tuck it right underneath of the legs to support you, and then lowering down. In front of you, you can tuck a block under the head. supporting the forehead. If it goes comfortably to the mat, take it there. You want to be lift up or lifted up just a little bit more. Maybe you place a pillow and just sort of lay on that pillow. Head could turn to one cheek or the other. Arms can extend out in front. So take your time supporting yourself and breathe. If your head is on one cheek, I'll let you know when it's time to switch for balance. Eyes can close. You could feel free to connect with the mantra. If you were working with the inhale of so, exhale of hum, or anything that appeals to you. And just try not to connect with too many thoughts. If your head is on one cheek, gently turn to the opposite cheek. Feel yourself sinking in with each exhale. Hips releasing. Body heavy. Few more. Lift your head up and slowly start to sit back up. Take your time. Slide those props off to the side. And lift that pillow out from under you if it's there. Hands over to one side. Let's take the legs out from the other. So that you'll come to sit on your bottom. And then straighten your legs out here. We're going to have the legs straight in front. And we're going to open them, creating a lot of space, as much space as is comfortable for you. Let the feet be relaxed, sit up tall. Bring the hands ahead of you, and then we'll take some props right in between the legs. So you can slowly start to fold. So you might have more than one pillow. You might do this with blocks, but see if you can take your time coming to fold here. It's a lot of options. It could be a combination. It might take a moment to play with what you prefer. It might be blocks with a blanket on top, but someplace that you can rest your head. Support the forehead, let the back release, arms relax, and breathe. Find what you prefer here. If it's resting on a couple pillows or any combination of what you have, just make something that becomes restful for the head. Oops. And then let the back release, let the chest release. Close the eyes, relax the arms and the shoulders. Keep those legs relaxed, even the feet and the toes. And breathe. Settling into hips. letting go of any effort, and finding a bit of patience as you hold the pose for a bit longer. Patience with your body, your mind, and your breath. Feel for holding your attention inward. And just taking a couple more breaths here. Slowly come to sit back up. And then once you're up, you can take those props off to the side, keeping them nearby. Bring your legs close together. And then come to lie on your back. So once you lie on your back, we're going to have the knees bent and the feet on the floor. Have your knees and your feet about as wide as your hips. We're going to lift the sacrum or the pelvis up and tuck a prop under there. So it might just be a block. We can adjust the height. So this will be just right above the tailbone. You can use a block on its lowest point. You can use a folded up blanket. You might be able, what I kind of prefer is for this is a blanket over block. It's just a little bit softer, so find what works for you. And then once you have that, let your pelvis, your sacrum settle there, and stretch your arms out to the side. Turn your palms up, let them relax, and palms up will help to relax your shoulders. Keep your head in a neutral position, so you just have a little tuck in your chin, and breathe. And close those eyes. Let the weight of your body settle on to the mat and your props. Know that it can take a bit of time to let go, so continue to stay patient with your body. And just allow softness to happen on the exhale. Allow gravity to continue drawing you downward. Holding your body heavy. Even staying relaxed in the muscles in the face. And the shoulders drop down. Few more slow breaths in and out of the nose. Couple more. Softening any tension in the back or around the hips. Feeling for releasing tightness with your exhale. Okay, gently bring your hands to find your prop. Lift your hips up, press into the feet to do so, and just slide those props out from under your body and lower your pelvis back down to the mat. Let's have the head still on the mat. Cross your legs, one leg over the other, right leg over the left. And feel for wrapping them. You might be able to double wrap the legs, hooking the calves around, the ankles around one another, or whatever you can get. Take your arms out wide, palms up. Inhale here. On the exhale, let your legs fall over to the left. Turn your gaze to the right and just sink into this twist. If this is a little too much with your legs raveled around one another, then just stack the knees and settle like that. You can relax the head to the opposite shoulder of the legs, just toward it. You can support here. If those legs, those knees don't want to fall to the floor, tuck your blanket underneath or tuck your block underneath, whatever you have. Something so that you're filling the space, so there's no gap between the legs and the floor. Maybe even your pillow. It can be harder to breathe in a twist, so focus on where your breath is moving. And keep it slow. Keeping it calm, cool. Relax through the jaw and the brow center. Find a few more breaths in this twist. You can inhale and bring your head back to center and slowly lift the legs back up, knees to vertical. Uncross the legs if they are. Bring your arms close to your body. If you had that prop under the knees, take it to the other side. And then switch that cross, so left leg crossing over the right thigh. Maybe wrapping a little further as much as your body would like to go. Take those arms out wide, inhale. And when you exhale, just let the legs fall over to the right. And now support. If those knees go all the way to the floor without feeling strained, then let them go there. Otherwise, tuck a blanket or a block or something underneath of them. Let your arms be out wide and your palms up, shoulders soft, and turn the gaze to the opposite shoulder of the legs. Direct your attention back inward and breathe. If you observe your body gripping or grasping any spaces, try to release them. Continue to breathe slowly. We'll stay here just a little bit longer. If we're relaxing through the hips. Two breaths. Bring the head back to center and then inhale the knees back up to vertical. Uncross the legs if they are. And now from here, be sure your back is centered on your mat and just gently bring your knees into your chest. Hold on to them for a moment. And just breathe. Try to let the arms wrapping around the knees or the shins. Allow those arms to gently draw the knees toward your chest. Soften the shoulders. Keep the feet relaxed. And keep the back of the head on the mat. Couple breaths here. One more. You could release the hands from the legs, bring the feet onto the floor, and just roll on to your left side, or really either side. So you can sit up just for a moment so that we can make a heart bench here. So a few different ways you can do this. Again, a combination of your props. If you do have blocks,
you might use both blocks, placing one on its highest point toward the back of your mat and the other on the medium height. And then I like to lay a blanket across them. So you can fold your blanket up so that you can rest it across the blocks. I have really thin blocks, so hopefully you have thicker ones. It's a little easier, but for me, I usually have to adjust as I lie back. So there'll be a few different options, but if you're going here, your buttocks is staying on the mat and the block is resting along the spine. The soles of the feet are together. Block at the center of the back, right along the spine. And then that upward block, you can adjust it so it's right under your head. And once you've found that, sometimes for me, with my thin blocks, it works better to take the blanket off of it. So you can play with what you might prefer based on the props that you have. Soles of the feet come together. Arms can come out wide. If those knees, you're feeling tension in the hips or thighs, and tuck a prop, another blanket or pillow under your knees. Now, another version, you might use a blanket and just lay, or a pillow rather, and just lay that under you. You could also use a blanket. So if you have kind of a fluffy pillow that's similar to the size of a bolster, that can be great here. If you want to, if it's not quite as big, you could always rest your blanket on top of it. Or if you just have the blanket, you can roll it into a bit of a cylinder shape, and that'll be what you lay behind you. So any combination of what you have around you. And once you come to rest on your back, you can again support the outer thighs and knee area with props, pillows or blocks. Make sure that your head is on your prop, on some prop. So if anything's hanging off, it's the low back. And take your time to find a comfortable position. You might have your arms out wide here with your palms up. It can always be an option to have your hands on your belly if you like to connect with breath. Really arms out as wide as you'd like. Have a little tuck in your chin. And breathe. Good. If you feel uncomfortable, take your time to adjust your body. Let the shoulders hang heavy and the chest stay open, the heart lifted, and the breath steady and calm. Allow your knees and your legs to relax. Release through the low back. And let gravity draw you down for just a bit longer.
2 breaths. Exhale all the way. Maybe your hands come help those knees lift back up to vertical, moving slow. And then you could roll on to either side of your butt. Use your other hand to push yourself up slightly and just slide those props out from behind you. You might still want a blanket if you have it, but then come to lie flat on your back. Just have that blanket in your butt. So we will settle here into Shavasana, or your resting pose, your final pose. But again, you might take that with a bit more support. So if it's comfortable for you to arrive with your legs straight and wide, feet flopping outward, and your arms out wide, about 10 or so inches away from the torso, go there. If you'd like a little more grounding energy, you could roll your spare blanket, whatever that is, and place it right over top of your hips. Actually, just a folded blanket. You could rest the whole thing over your hips and pelvis just to bring some grounding or groundedness to that space, to your being. If you feel discomfort in your back here, you could also tuck a blanket, or even that blanket if you're not using, or a pillow, or the blanket if you're not using it on your hips. You might scooch it under the knees, support them, or it could be a block that you put under each knee. So something to take off any pressure. And then let your arms rest wide. Keep a little tuck in the chin and have the head neutral. Feet really flop outward here as the whole body relaxes. Palms are up to ground your shoulders. Attention is inward. So eyes closed, body heavy. Settle into your resting pose. I will be sitting up to guide you through Shavasana. You take your time making your final pose. As you rest, let your breath be more natural. Keep your mind quiet. Allow your palms to stay up to receive the benefits from your practice, and your heart to stay open. Just preparing here to absorb all the benefits from your practice as you hold stillness. Feel for drifting beyond your body and your mind into that space where you're just observing. You could do that, observing with your attention at brow center. Mind quiet, peaceful and calm. As your entire being surrenders to deep relaxation. Remaining here for several moments.
Very slowly, begin to bring attention back into your body by taking a deeper breath in and out of the belly. Feeling the belly rise and fall as you pump the breath there. Maybe you turn your head from side to side. Maybe you wiggle fingers and wiggle toes. You could rotate wrists, rotate ankles. And then bring your palms together at your heart center and rub them. Bring the soles of your feet together and rub them. Feel energy come back into the body. And now, inhale, stretch your arms straight up over your head to the floor behind you. Straighten your legs long and take a full body stretch from fingers to toes. Breathe in as you lengthen your body. And then as you exhale, bend your knees and elbows and roll up to the right side of your body. Let the head just rest in the crevice of your right elbow. Pause here on your side for a moment. Take a breath as you consciously notice the quality of your being. Noticing your heart. Breathing into that space, sending a bit of gratitude there. And then pressing into your left hand and making your way up to a seated pose. You could come to sit on your feet. You could sit cross-legged or straight-legged, but sit up tall. And again, honor the heart by drawing the palms either over it or together in front of it. Now I'll end with a mantra, chant 3 times in Sanskrit, the language of yoga. It simply means, may all beings on all planes be free and happy. I'll chant it 3 times, followed with a short Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, peace, peace, peace. You could join in or just enjoy. Long spine. Deep breath in. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. And thank you for joining me for this restorative yin practice. Hope you have a peaceful rest of your day.